Have you ever considered what it would be like to live in a world without privacy, where every move is watched and every thought controlled? Such is the dystopian reality painted by George Orwell in his iconic book, 1984, a chilling prophecy of a totalitarian future that seems eerily familiar in our present times. Published in the aftermath of World War II in 1949, 1984 reflects the anxieties of a war-torn world, the rise of nuclear power, and the shadow of authoritarian regimes. Now, let's acquaint ourselves with our protagonist, Winston. He's an ordinary man, living in the extraordinary year of 1984, in a city that once was London. But it's not the London you and I know. It's a London under the firm grip of Big Brother, where privacy and freedom are relics of the past. Now imagine living in Winston's world, in a city once known as London, under the watchful eyes of Big Brother. Picture a world where the government is omnipresent, watching through telescreens installed everywhere. This is the reality for Winston, the protagonist of Orwell's 1984. The constant surveillance, the ever-watchful eye of Big Brother, is a chilling thought, isn't it? Not just in the public sphere, but in the private corners of our lives too. The line between public safety and personal freedom becomes blurry when the government assumes the role of a watchful guardian. Now let's take a look around us. Do you see the parallels with our reality? Surveillance cameras dot our cityscapes, from traffic lights to shopping malls, from parks to our workplaces. We've been told they're there for our safety, to catch the bad guys, and in many ways they do. They deter crime, help in investigations, maintain order, but where do we draw the line? When does surveillance for safety tip over into invasion of privacy? The question of governmental control is not limited to physical surveillance, it extends to our digital lives as well. Every click, every search, every site we visit, tracked, recorded, analyzed. Our digital footprints, a testament to our lives, but also a potential tool for control. In 1984, the telescreens are not just for watching, they're for indoctrination too. They spew out propaganda, molding the minds of the people, shaping their reality. Now think about the vast amount of information we consume online every day. How much of it is fact? How much of it is fiction? The power to control the narrative, to shape public opinion, is a potent tool in the hands of any government. Orwell's 1984 was a warning, a dystopian vision of what could happen when governmental control becomes absolute. It's a stark reminder to question, to think critically, and to demand transparency and accountability from those in power. So, is our society moving towards Orwell's vision of the future? It's a question each one of us needs to ponder on. Because the answer will define the kind of world we want to live in, the kind of future we want to build. How would you feel if your past was erased and rewritten at will? Let's delve into two intriguing themes from George Orwell's 1984, manipulation of history and newspeak. In Orwell's dystopian world, the government, personified by Big Brother, employs a disturbing method of controlling its citizens. They manipulate history, altering and rewriting the past to fit their narrative. The Ministry of Truth, a strikingly ironic name, works tirelessly to rewrite old newspaper articles, doctor photographs, and alter records. This constant revision of historical facts creates a fluid past, one that changes according to the whims of the party. The aim is to control public perception and ensure that the government's version of reality goes unchallenged. But the manipulation doesn't stop at history. It extends to the very language the citizens use, newspeak. In 1984, newspeak is a new language, a stripped-down version of English, introduced by the government. This language is designed to limit the range of thought, to make any form of dissent or rebellion literally unthinkable. By reducing vocabulary, the government limits the capacity for expression and critical thinking. Complex ideas and notions of freedom or rebellion simply cannot exist without the words to express them. Imagine a world where words like freedom, justice, rights are eradicated from the language, leaving no room for subversive thoughts or actions. This is the power of newspeak. It's a chilling concept, isn't it? Orwell's exploration of language as a tool of control is a poignant reminder of the power of words and the necessity of preserving their meaning. So, we see how Orwell's 1984 presents a world where the past is mutable and language is a weapon of control. It's a stark warning of how information, or the lack thereof, can be used to manipulate and control. It makes us question, could our language and history be subtly manipulated, just like in 1984? What if the reality you know is distorted and manipulated? This question is at the heart of George Orwell's 1984, as Winston grapples with the themes of distorted statistics and conformity. In Orwell's dystopia, The government, the party, wields the weapon of false data and manipulated statistics to control the population. They paint a picture of prosperity and success where in reality, the people live in a state of perpetual poverty and deprivation. The party's manipulation of data is so pervasive that it becomes the accepted reality. This distortion of truth is not just a tactic for maintaining power, but a way to control the minds of the people, to make them believe in the infallibility of the party. But what happens when someone starts to question this reality? This is where the theme of doubt and conformity comes into play. Winston, our protagonist, begins to doubt the reality presented by the party. He finds discrepancies in the statistics, inconsistencies in the facts, and begins to entertain the idea of an alternate past. This is a dangerous path to tread in a world where conformity is survival. Winston's struggle is a struggle against conformity. It is a struggle against accepting the version of reality that is spoon-fed to him. He fights against the fear of being different, of thinking differently. He grapples with the possibility of his own insanity, because to question the party is to question his own sanity in a world where the party is the absolute truth. But Winston is not alone in his struggle. We too live in a world where information is often distorted, where statistics are manipulated to suit narratives, where conformity is often easier than questioning. Are we, like Winston, aware of these distortions? Are we questioning, or are we conforming? Are we, like Winston, struggling with the idea of an alternate past and the possibility of our own insanity? It's a question we must all ask ourselves, for in the end, it's not just about reading a book. It's about understanding our reality. Imagine a world in perpetual war, consuming resources and keeping people deprived. This is the dystopian reality that George Orwell paints in his seminal work, 1984. The party, the authoritarian government in the book, maintains a constant state of war to manipulate the population. War becomes a tool, a mechanism to consume resources and prevent an increase in living standards. It's an endless cycle of conflict, a machinery of despair that feeds on itself, leaving no room for hope or progress. But why would a government keep its people in such a state of deprivation? The answer lies in control. By keeping the population in a constant state of fear and need, the party ensures their dependency on the government for survival. The people are too consumed by their struggle for existence to question their circumstances or the actions of their rulers. In this bleak scenario, Orwell presents war not just as a physical battle but also a psychological one. It's a war against the human spirit, against hope and aspiration. It's a war that seeks to crush the very essence of what makes us human, our capacity to dream, to aspire, to seek a better future. Now let's reflect on this theme in the context of our contemporary society. While we may not be living in a state of perpetual war, the manipulation of fear and control is not entirely alien to us. From the constant bombardment of information, to the subtle ways in which our perceptions are shaped and controlled, there are parallels that cannot be ignored. The surveillance cameras in our cities, the tracking of our online activities, the shaping of our beliefs through targeted news and social media feeds, are these not tools of control? In 1984, Orwell warns us about the dangers of an omnipresent government that seeks to control every aspect of our lives. He urges us to question, to challenge, to resist. As we navigate our complex, interconnected world, it is essential for us to remain vigilant, to critically examine the information we receive, and to constantly question the reality that is presented to us. Does Orwell's 1984 offer a mirror to our world today? The answer, perhaps, lies in our own reflection. In a world of misinformation and surveillance, 1984 seems more relevant than ever. George Orwell's dystopian masterpiece, written in the shadow of World War II, presents a chilling vision of an omnipresent government, a society stripped of privacy, and a populace manipulated through distorted statistics and a controlled language. Protagonist Winston's struggle against conformity and his quest for truth resonate with the contemporary questioning of received information. The parallels between Orwell's fictitious world and our reality are stark. The increase in surveillance cameras, the potential for history to be rewritten, and the constant state of war that consumes resources. It's a novel that encourages reflection, urges critical thinking, and offers a biting social critique. Its themes remain disturbingly relevant, serving as a cautionary tale for our society. So, in the light of these revelations, consider this. Are we living in Orwell's 1984?